Hello and welcome, everyone. This is a live. We are here today with Ellen of ESP Presents. I am April Thomas, your co host, or I guess I am a co host right now today. and today, me and Ellen are teaming up and we are going to talk about Miss Melvina's book. But I'm going to let Ellen introduce Melvina.
Hello. Thank you, first of all, April, for having us back. This is our second show. Thank you. Thank you. And I brought Melvina. I've known her for 10 years, working with her for three. And we're talking about her book, Combat Related PTSD. Melvina, it is always a pleasure to have you here. Tell the folks about yourself and why you wrote this book.
Why I wrote this book. First of all, I'd like to thank you, Miss April,
Oh,
for
you're
having
welcome.
me on your show tonight.
You're
And
welcome.
it's an honor. And it's
You are most welcome.
but, but again, my name is Melvina Gray, the author of my book that I wrote titled Combat Related PTSD, which is Post Traumatic Stress Disorder. And it's a true story written from my perspective of my late husband who suffered severely from post traumatic stress. Before I penned my book, I worked in the medical field as a certified medical assistant for many years, also in banking for many years, and in corporate America for many years before I wrote my book. And the purpose of me writing again my book is to try and bring out awareness of PTSD to help other families who may be dealing with PTSD by sharing my personal experiences from my perspective and living with my husband who struggled with PTSD as a result of being in combat on the battlefield. And he was diagnosed with that as a result. And the book tells how he struggled with PTSD and how the family went through the pain and struggled with along with him. The reason, well, I like to let people know. I want to bring awareness in order to help others to recognize some of the signs and symptoms of PTSD in their loved ones, and also help them to better understand their loved ones as well. Now, any of us can have PTSD and be a victim of PTSD. It doesn't necessarily have to be war related, but it could stem from real bad traumatizing experiences. And another thing that I like people to know is what PTSD is about, what it did to us, and what it could do to anyone else. Now, and it could eliminate some of the criticism that people stigmatize people, they have mental disorders. They don't know that they do. And it hurt me because when I was with before he passed away and was diagnosed with PTSD, people used to, friends and family, they used to criticize him, call him names. And it hurt me that nothing was wrong with him. He was just mean, hateful, selfish man. And a lot of them, well, not a lot, but a few of them distanced themselves away from us. And it hurt me because I couldn't tell them. They didn't want to hear me, because I'm trying to tell them what he's dealing with and what he was diagnosed with. Some of them didn't want to hear me. So that's another purpose of me writing my book because at least I got to write out what took place. And then they would understand that, oh, because a few of them read the book afterwards and they said, oh, we didn't know. We didn't know he was, we didn't know he was dealing with that. I said, now you know, but it's too late now.
Mm-hmm.
He's gone. So, but anyhow, that's what I'd like people to know and bring awareness on that to try to help others so they wouldn't have to go through all of what I went through.
Mm. Melvina, that
Mm.
is great. And I've read your book, and it is a 5-star book for those who are out there and thinking about get the book. Again, that's the Willie Gray Story, and you can find that over on Amazon. As well as you can go to her website as well. And April will put that there before we get off. So, Melvina, we're talking this segment, we're talking about your husband, he transitioned. And at that time, your son was 13 years old. So, how will you tell those parents that are out there that has lost a husband? I'm going to say a husband in your case because you lost your husband. How do you explain to them now that they become a single parent due to the loss of their husband? How would you tell them your experience in from your standpoint? That's what, like you said, that's only you can tell about the loss of their husband.
Okay, I will first say losing a spouse is a deeply painful experience, and navigating life as a single mother afterward can feel overwhelming. But please know that you are stronger than you might think. Each day, you're showing immense courage and resilience, not only for yourself, but also for your children. You're not alone. Lean on those who care about you, whether it's friends, family, or support groups. Um, it's okay to ask for help when you need it. Your journey is unique, but you don't have to walk it alone.
Hmm.
Mm.
So beautiful, so beautiful. And I have one more for you, Melvina. So, for those of you out there listening, we try not to keep this show too long because there are trigger warnings. And as Melvina tells us her story, is she has to relive these things and talk about it. And so, I would hope, and also April and Melvina, that you guys will reflect and look back and go visit that story on her website. Go visit that book and you will see that the things that she is talking about is from her perspective. As I said from last show, uh, I've seen PTSD books and it was all informational. Melvina book is so much more because she's telling from a wife perspective inside and she's given us the backdrop of what's going on. With that being said, Melvina, your husband transitioned, now your son is 13 years old. How critical is it for parents to focus on the child's talent during these periods of grief following the loss of their father?
Uh, well, nurturing a child's gift during periods of grief, especially after the loss of a parent, is very crucial for several reasons. While grief can be overwhelming both for the surviving parent and the children, focusing on a child's strength and passions can provide stability, a sense of purpose, and emotional healing during this difficult time. And I believe that engaging in activities that align with their natural gifts can serve as a healthy emotional outlet for children. It allows them to express feelings they might not yet have the words to articulate, whether through art, music, sports, or other creative outlets. I would grant your child or children the opportunity to process their grief independently.
Mm, thank you
That's
so
very good.
much. Thank you so much for that. What is I guess what you can ask her. I'll give it back to April, and April can give you, you know, you can do your takeaway after April. So April, back to you.
So you talked about the talents. Was it only drawing, or was there more different outlets for, like, for example, my daughter does drawing, and that's
Mm,
like her main thing. Her main thing is drawing. For
mhm.
me growing up, I was into, oh gosh, I had a lot. So my mom had me into singing at church, and then my mom had me. I did drawing. Um, I had a very vivid imagination as a child. So, like for me, I have multiple streams to kind of help me cope with things. And I think when I dealt with hard stuff, I would dive into one of those streams, if not all of them. Was it like that for him, or did he just have one that he really focused on, that really, like, that one did it for him? That was all he needed.
No, no, that's not all. He was very active with
Ah, okay.
he did a lot of the art now, art drawing
Mm,
for teachers in his classroom, for himself, for just about anyone who asked him to draw, he would draw. That was
nice.
his passion, throughout, you know, pre-K, kindergarten, high school, middle school, and when he got to college, he sort of like, slack up a little bit,
Oh yeah.
and then but during high school, middle school, he had interest in football. He did all of them. He did football. He did not basketball. He did
Mm.
wrestling, and he did
Okay.
baseball. So he stayed busy because I kept him busy, and we both
Mm-hmm.
were busy by me back and forth with him from practice, this thing, that thing, and so he was focused on a lot of those activities. And then in church, he was um, he was an usher at once,
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
uh, church in the
wow.
junior usher, and then later on during the summer program they had like a mentor program at summer camp.
Mm.
So he was attending the summer camp, and then the teachers, they were, they spoke so highly of him, and they just think could do anything they ask him to do. He's right on it. And that's the way
Mm.
he is today. You can put anything in the front of him to do, and you best believe it. He don't have a problem with doing it, getting it done, knowledgeable to know what to do. Wherein it would take me 50 years to try to figure out something, when he just press his finger on something, and it goes. But so he was very active, and then they uh, while he was doing in the mentorship program, then they made him a mentor.
Mm.
So he was active in a lot, and he loved doing what he did. And
Yeah.
I saw myself that he stayed busy. He stayed busy. He stayed busy. He couldn't. He just. Whew, he had a lot of energy. He had a lot of energy, but the way I looked at it, it was keeping his mind
Yes.
freed up,
Hmm.
from grieving so hard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I
Uh,
wanted to ask
I,
you this,
I did,
Melvina.
and I did a lot of things that, fun things
Hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
keep him going. I was hurting inside and grieving, but I knew I had to look out for him and
Wow.
Yeah.
nurture him so he wouldn't fall
Oh,
from.
that's
Yeah.
beautiful. Wow. I wanted to ask you this. I just thought about this, Melvina. And what did your son do, or what did you guys do together in those moments when after your husband transitioned, and a little boy, he always think about his dad. What did you do for the comfort when those moments he came and he kind of thought about his dad, or did he just walk that alone?
He grieved inside, but he didn't want to talk about it,
Hmm.
because I
Mm-hmm.
used to ask him, "You want to talk? You want to?" he was sort of quiet. He didn't quiet about that. And I
Mhm.
knew he was grieving inside, but it's nothing I could do, but keep him busy and do fun things, travel, you know. So basically, that's what we did to keep both of us going
Mhm.
and not, fall into a trap where we couldn't get up and maneuver around and do what the things we did a lot. We did a lot.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the main thing was, I could tell. I looked at him and he didn't have much to say.
Mm.
Not much to say. He didn't want to talk about it. So,
Mhm.
and that hurt me to my heart because he didn't want to hurt about it. He didn't want to
Mhm.
talk about it. I'm sorry, and it hurt.
Mhm.
I I think with boys, that's actually normal. With boys, boys are not as vocal as girls. So
Okay.
that's actually pretty normal for boys to kind of not want to talk about it. And I think the way that you handled it was perfect. It was
Yes.
well executed because that's exactly how they deal with it. They need to be active. They need to be physically active, and guided that into positive, not a negative
Yeah.
thing. He didn't get into like gangs. He didn't get into doing bad stuff. It had
Yeah.
they're more action based. That's how boys are. Girls, it's that we're more intellectual that way. Not saying that we're smarter or whatever.
Mhm.
I think you're
Our
smarter, but anyway.
emotions. Mhm.
But we're yeah, our emotional IQ, we just work different. So for
Mhm.
a girl, yes, she's gonna talk. It's gonna be something with
Yeah.
talking. She still needs that active. She needs something to do, but she is gonna talk more. But boys, that's just how they are. He's absolutely normal. That was absolutely
Mhm.
normal. And
It
then,
was
but the
valid.
way you did it was perfect because look at who he
Yeah.
is today.
Yeah.
He
Wonderful
wouldn't
man.
be there
Handsome
today.
guy.
Yeah.
He is a handsome guy.
Is it? I
He is
haven't
a
seen him.
handsome guy.
I
You're
haven't
gonna
seen
have
him,
to
but
look.
just from what I heard, yeah,
He is a
Okay.
very handsome guy, a well
yeah.
thriving guy. And Melvina, tell us a little bit about him, his adulthood right now, and then give us a takeaway unless April
I
has
was,
something
I
else.
was, I wanted to tell April something about the quietness, and he didn't talk, but he didn't want
Mm,
to talk with me about it.
mm,
But then I found out some of his close friends, he was talking to them.
mhm.
Mm,
That's
male
peers.
bonding.
It's his peers. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
He,
Mhm,
a couple of them, two or three other close friends, he would talk with them about.
mm,
Mhm.
But because they told me, a couple of them told me they were
yeah,
close,
Wow.
and then he
yeah,
said he talked about his dad all the time. I said,
yeah,
Mhm.
and I said, really? And so I said he didn't talk to me.
yeah.
Yeah,
No,
I'm thinking in
that's
my
so
own
normal.
mind, Melvina and April, that he probably didn't want to carry that weight on you, for you to have the weight of that and just kind of sort it out. That's what I'm thinking, and because I know that being a military wife and yourself being a military wife, I'll speak for myself. And then when the husband goes away to deploy, um, he would always say, "Take care of the home front." And it doesn't mean that you uh, almost be her husband. It just means that you make sure she's okay. And so I'm just thinking that he rather you just go through your own grief and he goes through his and not put the weight of that, because yes, you are his mother, and yes, that was your husband as well and his father. That's
Mm,
my thought process.
He could have
mm,
also, and this is just me just throwing it out there. He could have also had a sense of now he's the man of the house.
Mm-hmm.
So he has to be
Mm-hmm.
stronger. He has to,
Yeah.
all
yeah.
those things are gonna go through his head. And I just think that it was perfectly normal.
Yeah.
And I think the what really made everything exceptional is how you handled it. I think
Yes.
that's what made all the difference, and that's why
Mhm.
he is who he is today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that was yeah, that was excellent. That was excellent because it could have went south. There's a lot of situations where it goes south easily.
Hmm.
You're right. I have had
Yeah.
a lot of people, a lot of family members after, and they said you raised him, and he's not in the street.
Yes.
You did a great job. You never had that that think and his mind telling him to go out there in
Mm-hmm.
the
Yep.
street and do this and do that and hang out with the bad guys.
Yeah,
See?
You know, he always managed to surround himself with positive people,
Yes.
and all of his friends that he was in with, lady friends, male friends, they were all intelligent people,
that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
very
That's
intelligent,
awesome.
and wanted to do something out of their lives, wanted to make something
Mm-hmm.
out of their
That's
lives.
good. That's good. That's so good,
That's
Melvina.
good. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have a takeaway, Melvina, or for those that's listening, any questions on the board? I see the message board is lit up. Is that from what you wrote? See if
I don't,
Um,
anybody saying
yes.
anything.
I mean, thank you, author S.C. Dickens. He said
Oh, I do
PTSD
see it.
is no joke.
I know
Yeah.
it. Thank
It's not- yes.
Do they have any questions for Melvina? I can see it on my end now where I can join the chat. I see it
Oh, I'm
there.
sorry. I said he, but I don't know if it's a he or she.
That's
So don't please
it
forgive me.
says April. Okay. That's Arthur C. Deakins, Civil
That's
PTSD. Thank you for being
yes.
here. Does he have any questions? Uh, okay.
Yeah,
Does he
no.
have any
No, no
questions?
questions. No, no questions.
So
I
yeah.
don't yeah. I don't yeah, so we yeah, it looks yeah, that's about it. It's a civilian PTSD, which is another thing. Yeah, there are a lot of civilian, PTSD, you can get combat related. That's why we say combat related PTSD, or there's PTSD from different situations,
Yeah,
different
that
bad
kind
tragedies
of,
that happen.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Melvina was talking earlier on in the show for those who came in, resetting right now. Thank you, author S.C. Deakins, for coming in. And earlier, Melvina was stated too that PTSD doesn't always have to come from combat. It's also civilian PTSD as well, homebound or
Yeah.
homegrown, if you will. Yeah, but
Yeah.
thank you so much, uh, Melvina. This has been great. Back to you, April. If do you have a takeaway? Um,
Okay. Takeaway.
mhm.
Well, uh, my takeaway would be try to create positive memories during a time of grief. Creating positive memories through nurturing their gifts can provide a counterbalance to the sadness. These positive experiences can help children see that life, while challenging, while challenging, still can have joy and fulfillment. And
Beautiful.
for the surviving parent, it can also be a healing process. It allows them to focus on something constructive and positive, which can help in their own journey through grief. While it may be challenging to muster the energy, the long-term benefits for both the child and the parent profound.
Yes. Woo!
Amen.
This has been great. Thank you, April. Thank you for having us. And
Oh,
I
you're
hope to look
welcome.
back for more chats with Melvina. We'll see. Put it on the burner.
Yes.
Hint, hint.
Yes. Yes. So that would be great. So I love what you had to say, and I'm glad you came on. And there are a lot of people who are looking for help in understanding PTSD. Um, just quickly, just the other night, me and my boyfriend were talking, and he realized like, hey, maybe somebody he knew when he was growing up as a child had PTSD, and he didn't realize it, because of and now looking back in his life, he's realizing, well, maybe that person had PTSD. And I just at that time, I didn't nobody knew or understood what it was about. So it's good, like people are learning now and people are starting to reflect back and thinking, okay, well, maybe that person wasn't mean, maybe that person was really this is what they were going through. So I think, knowledge is power. So the more we know, the better. So now maybe people have a little bit more patience.
Well,
Yeah, I would
sometimes,
say, yeah.
like if there's suffering with PTSD or any other mental
Hmm.
illnesses, sometimes they're not aware if they're acting out actions, their
That's true.
actions, behavior would let someone else see it because sometimes they're not aware of it.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah,
you
that's true.
mention anything to them about it, it's either they're going to be in denial or
Hmm.
they don't want no help because they think
Yeah.
it's something wrong with them. So it's best for a loved one who's dealing with them to try to just push them as much as they can to try to
Yeah.
seek the professional help that they might need to to function, have a more functional life,
Yeah.
to live a
Yeah.
more functional life.
Yeah, you reminded me of an old Trinidadian saying that Trinidadian sayings are kind of funny, but an old Trinidadian saying that you just popped into mind when you said that is, the monkey don't see his own tail. So he doesn't they don't know.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my Trinidadian sayings are really hilarious. So
Mhm.
but yeah,
Wow.
that's what I yeah. And it's true. He doesn't he thinks he's normal. It's you
Mhm.
that's the problem. There's something wrong with you.
Hmm.
Oh, exactly. You can't do no right and you can't do no
No,
wrong.
no, you don't understand it. You don't get it.
You can't get your point across either.
No,
You can't get
no,
your point across unless you
no.
have price to pay to get that point across.
You got to
So
learn how to
true.
just, it's okay. You got to learn to walk away and allow the other person to think that you're in the wrong. You just got to let
Hmm.
it. It's not worth it.
That's what
Yeah,
Hmm.
we
it's not
did.
worth it.
We
And that's
spoke
what,
about that before, Ellen. That's what we had to do.
yes, yes.
When he gets started, and we see what's going to take place, we go to another room. We had to learn that though, because
Yeah.
I'd be trying to get my point across, and it's just like escalated like I don't know
It
what.
just makes it worse. It makes
Uh-huh.
it worse. Yeah.
So we had to
Yeah.
learn to just get out the way and let
Yeah.
him argue by himself.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And
And there's growth in that because, like, for me, in my experience, I grew from learning that, like, you know what, maybe having the last word is not everything. Just
Hmm.
just let it go. And
Hmm.
and that helped me to grow as a person. So there's a positive side. There's a very
so true,
positive side. Yeah,
So
so
you do
true.
grow.
that's
Yeah.
what I had to do.
It's a
Yeah.
lot of stuff like Melvina was saying in this book. And again, I hope you guys will go look at it and go to Amazon, get the Willie Gray story. A very, very transparent. I told Melvina, and I was being honest, and April did too. I don't know if I could have stayed. But Melvina stayed there. She did not want to leave her husband to chance. She looked at
Yeah.
the future outcome, and
Mm-hmm.
she said many times in her book she tried to fix him and she wanted him well. The most
Yeah.
important thing that she did was making sure he's safe, they're safe as best they could, and make sure that he could live in the state that he's in, or the position or the mental position that he's in, that he can live his best self. And she did that by stepping out of the way and allowing
Mm-hmm.
him, not because, and we talked about this before too, Melvina, because he had some mental illness, you still treated him like a husband. You didn't say,
Mm-hmm.
okay, this is what he has going on, and overstepped him. She paved the way by still stepping back, being a wife, and treating him as a respectable husband.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that was brilliant. And you will see that throughout the book. You'll see those footprints of a wife,
Yes.
regardless of, just like she said, uh, this is a illness that you cannot see. Like somebody might be in a wheelchair. Well, his is
Yeah.
unseen. So she's
Yeah.
treating him just like he should be treated. And that was awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Did great.
Awesome job.
Thank you. Thank
Awesome job. Melvina, what is your website, and how can people reach you?
They could reach me at the website is thewilliegraystory.com and Amazon.
Hmm. And April know. There's her at the website how they can. She has a list on there. Do tell us about that, April. You've helped her visit that a little bit when they go on
Oh,
the
if you want
website.
to contact her, to be
Mm-hmm.
able to contact. Yeah, so the contact page, you can send her, if you hit the contact and you fill out, you can send her whatever questions you may have. If there's something you want to know about PTSD, and then it goes directly to Miss Melvina, and she will be happy to respond back. And there's
Mm-hmm.
also a guest book you could sign just to say, hey, we were here. It's nice to know that her message is getting out there. So if you could go on there and sign that guest book, that would be really nice.
And
So
also share, swipe and share this video, guys. Make it go
yes,
viral.
please. Yes.
Thank you so
So
much, Melvina.
we thank you all for coming out, and we know everybody's busy and got your things going on, but we thank you for taking the time out to listen. If you're watching on the, what do they call it? The recap, the review, the whatever.
Replay
I forget terms.
in
Yeah.
a,
Replay.
yeah,
There we go.
in real time.
In real time, yes. If you're watching the replay, please, if you have any comments, you can comment below, or you can go to the website it's scrolling across the bottom of the screen, and you can ask Melvina anything and pertaining to PTSD. Let's just put
Mm-hmm.
probably not
Mm-hmm.
anything.
Yeah.
So we want to thank you all for coming out tonight. Ellen, is there anything else you wanted to say? You
I
guys
just
need to
want to
check out
say
Bookish.
again. Hmm.
ESP Presents. You need to check out. Some people they need to check out ESP Presents.
Oh,
Ellen does
thank you.
wonderful
Thank
interviews.
you.
Yes.
Thank you about
What's it
that.
called? Noom? Is it called Noom Talk? Or is it called
Yeah,
Noom?
on ESP Presents, we have an evening. Thanks for giving me this shine. It's ESP Presents and ESP Book Chat. ESP Book Chat is our book club. ESP Presents is the business side that we have. We have right now we're doing a promotional that's normally at $135. We're doing it at $75, where you have a 1 hour show. We read your book. You get a well written book review, and our evening and that show you could it's on a Thursday. Our shows are on Thursday evening show at 8 p.m. and we also have a $250 show where that is 3 nights. It's a 3 night show, and we read the first 3 chapters. We do finish your book and you get a review, but with the first 3 chapters, so we can be engaged. Also, can I plug this in right here that I'm going to say
Go ahead,
that I have
do
an
your
event
thing.
coming up real soon, September 12th. It's going to be on Instagram. We're going to talk to a author. He is a doctor, surgeon, and his name is Brian H. Williams, and his book is titled The Bodies Keep Coming. And he was around during 9/11 and also during the pandemic, and the bodies literally kept coming in. And so
Oh,
his
that's a
book
yeah.
is about how racism is in the medical industry and
Mm,
how we should stay healthy and well as a whole.
yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I
So
agree.
that's September 12th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Instagram. It will be under ESP Presents. Thank you. Thank you.
You had something else to
Welcome.
say. Ellen, you
Who
started
be?
to say something.
Oh,
Ellen started to say something before you told
Oh,
her.
to you?
I think
oh,
so.
Oh, well, I guess I was just saying that we can. Oh, she
Oh.
did say it where they can go to your website and they
Mm.
can do that. I think that's basically what I was going to say was to make sure you get the book as well. That's what I was saying. Make sure you get the book, guys. Do not walk away without getting this book. It is from her perspective, and it is a 5 star, like I said, a 5 star book. You may at some time to have some triggers, some warnings, some red flags, but come back to it and visit and digest as she did to get this story out. It's a wonderful story. That's what I wanted to
yes,
say, Melvina. It is a
it is.
wonderful story. Do buy the book, do swipe and share and get that um, book. You will be in for a great treat. Yeah. Yes.
Yes. So thank
Yes.
you. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Thank you.
And yes, you're welcome. Is there anything? So Melvina, is there any last words you want to tell anybody before we tune off?
Yeah,
Well,
like
just
they'll be seeing you again doing some lives. Oh, that was just me,
yes,
probably.
looking forward to having other shows, and
Yes.
would like you all to come in and look at it, and I
Yes.
would greatly appreciate it. And God bless.
Well,
Amen.
thank you. Well, thank you for being our guest, and we will see you on the next live.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And
Share, swipe, and
Bye
share.
bye.
Stay put, Melvin.